Neil Breen here from Nine's Wide World of Sports. I've teamed up with Sydney's youngest metro trainer, Will Friedman, for a brand new podcast called The Heart of Racing.
One thing I did get asked a lot by teachers, do you have a tip in the Melbourne Cup? I was a 12-year-old kid.
We're diving into the heart of racing, the trainers, the owners, jockeys, endless stories of success, heartbreak, some of which are the stuff of legend.
That single moment, it will never be topped.
The Heart of Racing for Ladbrokes. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Our next guest is CEO of Protective Group and an advocate of domestic violence victim survivors, Stephen Wilson. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom.
Well, what do you think could be done? I mean, there's a lot of different theories. You know, I think I heard the Premier, Jacinta Allen, the other day saying that, you know, all men need to step up and do something about this. Other people say, well, no, it's a small minority of men. Russell Howcroft, one of our breakfast show presenters, said that, you know, men who are potentially violent need counselling services they can go to before they commit acts of violence against women. What do you think we can do to try and improve this awful situation?
Well, I think firstly, men need to change their attitudes in general. So I concur with a few of those comments. I think the thing is that we've been doing this for over a decade now, and we talk about an ambitious national plan, which is generational change, which I think is 20, 30 years away to be able to solve the problem through education and awareness. I think right here, right now, we need to work out ways to keep victims safe and perpetrators held to account. Okay, but you use the sort of collective noun men. I mean, the vast majority of men do not beat their wives or their partners. Should they feel some sort of collective guilt about it? No, I don't think it's collective guilt, and I don't think all men do behave in such a manner. But there is clearly it is mainly men that are committing these crimes. It's mainly men, that are perpetrators. It's mainly women that we see as victims, and that's tens of thousands over the past decade.
Yeah. So, okay, so there's when these acts occur, we've obviously got to protect the women and punish the men. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But is there something more we can do to stop them happening in the first place?
Well, I think a lot of that falls back on stronger bail laws. We could track the more violent offenders. We can increase penalties. A lot of women, a lot of victims are very, very wary at times to go and take out intervention orders. They feel that may aggravate the situation, so they will generally try not to do that. My answer to those victims is, look, you're probably at times a better judge of your own safety. Is it going to aggravate the perpetrator? He's already angry enough as it is. So I think a lot of victims can tend to shy away from getting intervention because they feel it won't do anything. Yeah,
or it might aggravate the situation. Well, all right, I'm certain that's true. So, again, what do you say to someone in that situation? No, you must say something. You must speak up. You must leave the house with your children if you have them. I mean, you know, what advice do you give to people in that situation?
We give them all that advice. A lot of the work, the way we deal with this, we operate nationally, and we do it for family violence services, police, child protection. So we try to get in early. It's not just about getting a perpetrator to change his behaviour. It's about getting in early if we have to forcibly change it. So a lot of the work is going out to try and disrupt the perpetrator behaviour at the really early stages. Look for trackers in cars, stalking, animal abuse and strangulation are your three highest red flags. So if we can get in early and stop the stalking, remove trackers with the victim's consent and get her to talk to the police and explain to them what's happening. So get in nice and early, and if you need to leave, call your services, plan your safety plan and do it that way.
Okay, and what about the justice system? You mentioned about stiffer penalties. I mean, I think as a society we go very soft on crime now. We don't want to put any younger offenders, no matter how serious their offence, in jail. We let people out on bail repeatedly. Do we need to stiffen up punishments for men who do commit acts of violence?
Yes, we do. On a daily basis, Tom, we still go to women when men are breaching their intervention orders and continue the stalking up to 400 or 500 calls and texts a day and turning up at their house and constantly monitoring them through physical and technology surveillance, So, and just terrorising their victims. It is just a form of terrorism. It's using violence or the threat of violence to intimidate and install fear. One thing I might say is I noticed 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, whenever the Hannah Clark incident happened in Queensland, we saw a real escalation increase in people coming forward. We're seeing that now. we're seeing women who are so frightened they don't even want to open their doors for us to help them because they're so scared as a result of what's happening.
But you think there might be an upsurge of people making complaints because they're we're having more reporting of these issues and so forth?
My word, we saw a victim only on Wednesday who we've worked with before through a family violence service, and she said that she's come forward again because she's scared she's next.
All right, well, that's disturbing. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen Wilson there, CEO of the Protective Group and an advocate of domestic violence victims survivors. So I think his advice is stiffer penalties for people who do offend, and for women, and it is mainly women, if you are worried about your partner turning against you, he says get out. Get out earlier rather than later.
Breaking news, Barry, the last person you'd think to get an EV just bought a Toyota BZ4X all-wheel drive.
I can't believe Barry got an EV. Probably because it's got all-wheel drive capability to go off-road.
Ground control, what's this about Barry getting an EV with spacious cabin and wireless phone charging?
We are here live to understand why he chose an EV. So Barry, why did you shift?
Because it's a Toyota.
The all-new, all-electric Toyota BZ4X. Charge on. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Imagine a skyscraper where the windows generate clean energy. Or what if we could delay global warming by reflecting the sun's rays or by refreezing the Arctic? In 2024, the Tech Zero podcast is back, bringing you the big green ideas that could get us to net zero and the people risking everything to make them work. Our first episode of Season 3 will drop on Monday, March 18. So search and follow Tech Zero wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is sponsored by Rio Tinto.